Hi, welcome back to Open Hand Farm. I'm Penny, and I live on a 1.5 acre urban homestead. And if you are interested in gardening, herbal remedies, community making, or homemaking, you're in the right place. Today, I have a garden tour for you. I'm going to start with my back deck. When my mother moved in December, I told her that we would have plants for her because one of her favorite things before she had to leave her home was to have flowers that she would water every morning and take care of. So let me show you what we did this week for her. Here on the deck, we have her flowers. It's a little shaded right now. Sorry about that. We have a mandevilla that's going to climb up on this ladder, her hibiscus that was in bloom a little earlier, but it's closed up now, and just some basic flowers that will grow bigger and be more beautiful as the summer goes on. Now we're going to look at the back garden. You guys, I had a great day yesterday because my wood mulch finally got here and I was so excited. We were sitting in the house and I heard the backup beeping of a tree truck, and we came running out and made sure they were putting it where we wanted it. So here's what it looks like when we get our wood mulch. And again, this is free from our city where they trim trees, and it's always great stuff. And as you can tell, my allergies still won't let my voice come back to the way it's supposed to be. So please bear with me, and hopefully someday you'll turn on a video and I will be able to talk with my normal voice. The first thing I want to show you today is my squash, my zucchini and my yellow squash. I have struggled for 4 years to have squash. This year, I have it. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what the difference is. I have planted and replanted in every part of my yard every year. Last year, I probably planted about 20 zucchini plants and got 1 zucchini the whole summer. The yellow squash, I didn't get any of, and I just kept replanting. The vine borer just attacked them ruthlessly. Let me show you this year what I am doing that might be helping that situation. Let me show you my plants. They are beautiful, and I have so many little squash coming on. It's going to be crazy squash season around here very, very soon. Now, today I did go through and I cut off all of their bottom leaves that were laying on the ground and starting to look really bad. But another reason I did it is to open up the airflow and to expose the flowers better for the bees to get to them. The things that I have been doing are, number one, I carry in my garden apron a toothbrush. Now, the vine borer lays its eggs on the stems of the plant. So I decided, what if I go in, let me see, is this one right here? It might be. What if I go in and I just brush off the stems, just kind of give it a brush and see if that keeps the eggs from being on there. I'm not doing the leaves and everything. I'm just doing the base of the plant, where in the past I have seen the eggs of the vine borer. And that was another reason why I cut my leaves back, so that I could see these stems better. And I'm just giving them a brush, like front and back, to see if there's any eggs on there that they'll just brush off. Now, usually by the time I have flowers, I lose my plants, and that's when the vine borer really gets in there. So far, I think this has been maybe helping. Now, another thing that I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet, but I have tried it in the past. And the time that I got the one zucchini, I tried this, but I did not continue doing it. And that is to spray my plants about once a week or after a rain with BT. Now, BT is a biological insecticide, and the only kind of bugs that it kills are worms and caterpillars. So what happens is the vine borer lays its eggs on the vines. Once the caterpillar has hatched, they will start eating the vine with this on it, and they will die. You just mix it up in a spray container like this, and you just spray it on. If I'm spraying this, I do go all in here as well as under the leaves, because sometimes they will lay an egg there and surprise you. That's my plan. I'm going to do that now that I have so many flowers and so many zucchini that I want to protect. Now my yellow squash, I'm going to do the same thing, and I have also been taking my toothbrush to it, and look at those bees. They're just so happy in there. But I do need to clip some of these leaves off that are like dragging the ground and kind of blocking airflow. Another thing that I have learned about the squash is bugs like to come to unhealthy plants. Now, I can't say that my plants in the past were unhealthy. They look good to me. But along with that, I have read that if you feed your squash too much nitrogen, it cannot process them, and therefore it causes sugars inside the plant, and the bugs smell the sugars. I did put a tiny little bit of blood meal in these, but I also added phosphorus, because I've also learned that phosphorus is really good for fruiting plants. So I don't know if that made the difference or what, but I just cannot get over how beautiful these plants are. And you can see that I did get some of my mulch placed so that it is between my plants, so my walking paths now have mulch on them. Here are my red onions, and I planted a marigold there in the middle of them. Mark planted 2 habanero pepper plants here. Now, this cabbage, I think I shared with you last time that I can't tell if it's really going to do anything. It looks like it might be starting to head. The Chinese cabbage, on the other hand, is doing great and looks really nice. I've never grown Chinese cabbage, so this is new for me this year. Next to the cabbage are more onions, and they are looking really nice. They're getting thick and sturdy looking, and more of the little side shoots. These are the yellow of Parma. And then I planted a nasturtium here next to them. If you watch my planting video, you'll know that I put up a new cow panel to grow my cucumbers on. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card to it here so that you can click on that and see that also. So here's what they're looking like. They have definitely grown and been very happy. Once they get bigger, I'll start making them trellis on this cowpan. Garlic down the middle of this trellis area, and this is where the San Marzanos are, and they are really doing great. And then these are the Amish paste down here. And I struggle with Bermuda grass. Well, this whole area is just like solid with Bermuda grass. And so it likes to crawl into my garden beds and take over. So I came out this week and I dug out the Bermuda that was all along here. And this is where my pumpkins are. And they are coming up very nicely. I need to kind of re-hill them, kind of come in and use my hoe, get rid of the weeds, and pull the dirt up on them. But they're doing great, as you can see. So these are all the hills for my pumpkins. Just down from the pumpkins are green beans and some eggplants around here. 3 eggplants. I put a little bit of alyssum in there. I'm sorry, my son is going away here now. More mulch in the walkways, which I love having, because when it's muddy, I don't want to walk in there. These are my peppers, and they are definitely growing. They were so tiny when we put them in here. And more green beans, some borage there. The green beans are looking great. These are the dragon tongue, and they are the best. Sunflower at the end of this row. I figured when the seeds fell, the chickens would like that. And another row of peppers that are growing very nicely. And next to them is more onions. This row of onions is always laying down. I did see the neighbor's cat up in this bed the other day, so I'm wondering if that's the problem. The others look like they're standing up pretty well, but these here in the beginning are kind of laying down, so I'm going to have to watch that. I might have to put some wire around it or something. Now, this is the best thing growing in the garden. It's amazing. The potatoes. Some of these are almost up to my waist, and they're starting to flower, as you can see there. And I am just so excited. I kept putting straw between the plants. You can see me doing that in my planting video. And then over here are the sweet potatoes, and they are coming along too. They're going to be vining out here before you know it. We had some that went in and didn't do very well, but they are getting new growth. See that new growth right there? So they'll be kicking into gear before you know it. There's another one that didn't do very well, but there's new growth now. They're just all doing so well. Let's take a look in the food forest. The beets are coming along. The cherry tomatoes are growing. And the anise hyssop is spreading and going crazy. I love it. This was a volunteer alyssum that came back this year. I put another nasturtium here, and it's actually blooming. Here is the TP, and the beans are growing nicely. They're not quite big enough to start going in and out of the rope yet, but they will be. And this right here, I'm pretty sure is an echinacea, and it just kind of popped up, and it's right in the middle of my walkway, and I really don't have the heart to take it out, so I'm gonna leave it. I planted okra over here. I need to water it for today. It's only been in there a couple days. And this is my work in progress. Hopefully next video, this will look much better. This is where that Bermuda grass just absolutely took over my garden. So I used what mulch I had and what cardboard I had. So now I need to get more cardboard and cover up all over in here and up there around the blackberries and the peach trees. Or I might use, I've got some scraps of this black cloth. I might have to just use that. And then everything just needs to be weeded really well. But our blackberries are starting to bloom, so that's a good thing. As they get a little longer, I'll swish them all around these wires of this new support that Mark made. I was afraid that my figs had died, but they are going gung-ho. We didn't have very many figs last year, but they did not grow this quickly. So I'm hoping for a really good harvest this year. The mint, of course, plenty of it. This is where I planted the Malabar spinach, and I'm still not seeing any evidence of it. These peppers are doing okay. And the kale is doing fabulously. Beets. Now this over here, I had 2 comfrey plants in the front yard that were huge and all fallen over. So I cut them back, I chopped them up, and before I put new mulch down, I'm gonna put them around my fruit trees so that it will help feed them. Thanks so much for coming along today. I know this is a short video. Mark is wanting to get the yard mowed, and we've got cemeteries to go visit. And I hope that you are having a blessed Memorial Day weekend. And until next time, blessings on you and yours.